my channel. Today is going to be just a little card chat video. I figured I haven't done one of these sitting down and super chatty videos yet, so I am very excited to be filming today's video and to just start some conversation. I wasn't really even sure I was going to film this video. This video is a little bit of an end of the year assessing how 2022 went. I know there's a ton of them out there. I know, I'm sure, I'm just adding to the mix. As the more I thought about it, I thought this is a great video, if for no one else, for myself, because it really gives me something to look back on. I really just figured that this video would have been very fitting for me to be able to look back on and just see how far I've come, just to kind of reflect back on what my intentions were for the start of 2023, and hopefully they match up. So again, I'm very excited to be filming this video today and I can't wait to dive in. I did go to Starbucks before this video to get myself a little hot oat milk latte. I did want to set the mood, a nice cozy chat with a friend. It's my favorite. I really try not to go out and get coffee as much these days, just so I can avoid all of the junky stuff that they put in there. But every once in a while, you gotta go to Starbucks. You have to go to your favorite little coffee shop and get your favorite coffee. Make it easy, make it a whole thing. So I'm gonna start. I have my little notes here, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So number one, you are able to change the pace of your life at any time. So what do I mean by that? I mean hustle and grind and go, 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 stay up all night, burning the candle at both ends. To me, I feel like that has come and gone. We are learning every day how to be better, how to adjust, how to adapt, how to be healthier. I also really have learned firsthand how detrimental it can be to constantly be on the go. And it's one of those things where it had to take a life event for me to realize how negative of an impact it was having on my life, and just for me to realize how it was not sustainable for the long term. So I definitely really take this one to heart. I just got tired of living so fast-paced, so on the go at every time, and I essentially got burnt out, and I know that a lot of people can relate. So one thing that I learned in 2022 is that you don't have to feel guilty for not being on that hustle, that continuous go, go, go. Yes, of course, continue working hard, continue pursuing your goals and your dreams, but at the end of the day, it is really about what feels good for you. And every season of life is not for going at 100 miles an hour. There are definitely going to be times in your life where you need to slow down, you need to take your time and give yourself rest. And that's definitely something that I learned in 2022, is just learning to recognize when my body needed rest and not being afraid to listen. These days, I am very much advocating for slow, intentional living. I do believe that you don't have to be going a million miles an hour to make an impact. I believe that with good planning and just setting out to be very intentional with your actions and with your goals, I believe that you can still go very, very far and achieve the things that you would like to achieve. I do not believe anymore that you have to do things at a 110% at every moment. Number one, that's not sustainable, and number two, it's not healthy. So definitely, I think with just a little bit more purpose and intention behind your goals and your plans, I think that's really all that you need to be able to fulfill those things that you would like to accomplish. And that's my goal for 2023, is just to be intentional with my time, to just make sure that I'm managing that well, managing my energy well, and living slower, living more intentional. That has what I have done towards the end of 2022, and that's what I'm going to take with me into 2023. That is something that I am really excited to continue implementing. It feels good for me, and that is definitely going to be a focus going into 2023. along those same lines is knowing that it is okay to rest when necessary. You don't have to ask anyone's permission to rest when you feel tired, and that's mentally, emotionally, spiritually. When you feel your body, your mind fatigued, that is just a little sign, a little cry for rest, and it is okay to listen to that. You don't have to just continue to push through. I understand that we all have goals, we all have things, we all have deadlines, but just recognizing when you really need to rest and listening to your body and giving your body what it needs, that right there will take you so far. I just know that stopping to rest for a day, for a week, for a season, really stripping away all of the things that are not necessary so that you can just focus on the basics, just doing that can really help you to feel refreshed and to not feel so fatigued and unable to do the things that you need to do and to do them well. So number 2 is no is a complete sentence. Now, I know this is not a new thing, this is not a new phenomenon, and in fact I've heard it quite a bit, and that is something that I have decided to take with me. And not having boundaries is something that I have decided to leave behind in 2022. I want to say that I'm pretty good at boundaries, and for the most part I feel like I kind of am, but there are definitely areas in my life and people in my life that I very much struggle with boundaries and saying no. And it is definitely something that I want to continue to practice and to be able to learn how to use my voice and to express my needs in a way, of course, that's kind and compassionate and respectful to other people, but all in all, respectful and kind to myself. So to me, that just means that saying no doesn't have to feel selfish. It is simply a boundary that's put in place. So that's just something that I wanted to bring up. I know a lot of people struggle with saying no, and I totally understand why. We want to do everything for everyone, we want to be everything for everyone, and it's just not possible. So going into 2023, that's definitely something that I want to take with me, remembering that it's not out of selfishness, it's not out of spite or any kind of ugliness. It's really just a matter of self-respect and knowing what my capacities are and being able to communicate that to other people, and so that they are aware of my boundaries, but also in a way that is clear and kind. Just a little saying and a little reminder for you and for me: let your no be no and your yes be yes, and stick to those. Don't feel bad, and know that you're doing it for the good of yourself, which in turn positively affects other people as well. So number 3 is about health. So in 2022, a lot of people that know me personally know my story. I was diagnosed with endometrial cancer in 2021. Everything really initially started for me in 2020. So 2020 and 2021, 2022 was all about my health and trying to get better and really trying to focus on getting back to normal and being healthy again. And I will tell you firsthand that health is everything. You have nothing if you do not have your health. So I decided to put that one in the mix because I just feel like it is so unbelievably important to focus on your health. There are certain things that are unavoidable, whether it be genetics or just an illness that has occurred to you, an injury, things that are just outside of your control, and that is absolutely not your fault. It is not anything that you did to deserve that. But what I have learned is it is up to me on how I respond to that situation. So for me, I had a lot of the things that the doctors were telling me to do, and I of course followed their recommended guidelines, but at the same time I really took it upon myself to exercise my own personal responsibility for my own body and my own health, to learn to be my own advocate, to ask questions, to do an abundance of research and implement those things, and seek out the opinion of other professionals, and not be afraid to ask questions, not be afraid to ask why, and digging deeper and asking your doctor more probing questions. And so that's definitely something that I really was able to exercise, these prior years. It's something that I learned, that I can't keep quiet. This is my health, this is my body. And I really had to learn how to advocate for myself and be my own hero, so to speak. And so I'm very thankful that it has suited me well up to this point. I definitely will be sharing more about my diagnosis and everything that has entailed. Thank God I am cancer-free now, just by the way. And so I just know that for me at least, is my diet perfect now? Absolutely not. Do I exercise every single day? Again, absolutely not. But do I value my body a lot more? Yes. And not that I wasn't healthy before. I've always been pretty wellness minded, very keen on holistic health and all of that. But especially having gone through that situation, I know now what I can do better, and I know the questions I should be asking, and if nothing else, I've gained confidence in learning how to advocate for myself. And so it's just something that I am, I'm leaving behind being shy about my health. I'm leaving behind being shy about the crunchy, holistic home remedies that I have always kind of kept in my little back pocket and didn't want to talk about because I didn't want people to think I was kooky. But it's now about being more open and just being honest with myself and others regarding health, because as many people who have gone through this or have been a caretaker for people who have gone through a similar situation, your health is absolutely everything. Everything else takes a back seat. So I definitely want to throw this one in the mix because it is so, so vital to the health of every single other area in our lives. I don't remember what number I'm on. I think I'm on number 4, but not everyone or everything deserves an immediate response. And that kind of goes along with the boundaries and slow, intentional living that I had mentioned earlier. So with this one, what I really mean is allow yourself the space that you need in your life. So for instance, for some people who have work obligations between 8 to 5, you're able to check that at the door and go home most of the time and not have to fuss with any work demands. And no one expects anything from you regarding your job. When you clock in, you're there to work, and when you clock out, you're out of sight, out of mind. But there are a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, who are self-employed, like myself, who have had to learn this the hard way. And it's very difficult to set boundaries with others, especially people that you work with your clients. And I've had to learn this as a self-employed person, to not be afraid to say, this is when I'm accessible and this is when I'm not accessible. And that was a very difficult thing for me to learn, because I, again, didn't really like to say no. I felt like I always had to be on and ready and available to be successful, but that is not the case. You are very much your own person. You're still a human. You still have needs, and you still need to be able to shut things off, whether you're self-employed or not. And another area where this is super important is just with your family and friends. I know this day with social media, everything is accessible at every time. And that is one thing that I really just despise with social media, is just the expectation that people have to constantly be able to reach you, to access you. And I don't think that is very natural for us as humans. I think that we very much need our space. We need time to decompress. We need time to think and reflect and be able to figure out what we want to say, how we want to say it, or how we feel, and then be able to regurgitate that back to communicate with other people. And it is something that a lot of people struggle with, because they get a text message or they get a phone call or they have a voicemail or they have a DM or an email, and they don't want it looming over their head. So they immediately respond back, and they're not ready, or they didn't give themselves time to think, or they committed to something that they didn't want to commit to. And I'm not talking about something that is a dire situation, not responding to that. Of course, like, we're all adults and we know when a response is required immediately and when a response isn't. But I think what I have had to learn in 2022 and what I'm leaving behind in 2022 is just putting that unrealistic expectation on myself and giving that unrealistic expectation to other people that I am accessible at every time, at every moment, every call, every text. I will get right back to you, because that will not be the case, not in 2023 and not moving forward. I have a life, you have a life, we have good days, bad days, we need space, we need time, or maybe we just are not our best selves in that moment. So I think it is perfectly fine to take your time, take your space. If it's not urgent, then you respond accordingly. Again, it's so silly, it's so simple, it should be said, but I do know just from personal experience, and I've seen other people struggle with it as well, that it can be so hard to set that hard boundary, especially with family, especially with friends, that you're not going to always be available at every moment. So I just wanted to throw that one in there. I thought it was one that I know I've struggled with and that I've had to really learn how to exercise. And in making those changes, I am so much happier, and I communicate when I want to communicate, how I want to communicate. And I truly think that those who know me understand that it's not out of not having time for them or not being interested or them not being important. It is truly just about when I am available, I will get back to you. And sometimes that means when I actually have the capacity to hear what you're saying and to give you a thorough response, one that I've thought out and one that's more meaningful. So I definitely wanted to throw that in there. This lighting is a little wonky because the sun is going down, so I apologize if it is a little bit off, but we are getting through the list. So okay, so the next point, number 5, it is never too late to do what you want to do. So in 2022, like I said, I struggled a lot with my health, struggled a lot with just trying to find my footing again. I really had to focus in on getting better, just being okay, and a lot of other areas of my life just fell by the wayside. And through 2022, I really started to feel like myself again, a little bit at a time. I'm not there yet, but I can truly say I feel more like myself than I have in many years, and become more in tune with who I am, the things I like to do, and the things that I want to pursue. And so there are a lot of different things that I have tried in the past. I've always been very creative. Like I said in my last video, I have always been a creative person. Since even the start of Instagram, whenever we were just posting random pictures with random filters and it was not the least bit aesthetic, I had always shared my makeup and my coffees and my outfits and everything. And so it was like kind of being an influencer before it was even a thing. And I've always loved to share. I've always loved to create and share that with other people. And I grew up drawing and, you know, doing art things and just being creative in any capacity. You know, I got a DSLR and was really into photography at one point, and just a lot of different things. Started a clothing boutique, you know, taught myself that whole thing, and a podcast at one point. So just a lot of different little ventures that have all really just been me looking for a creative outlet. It makes me happy. So I'm 30 years old now, and I had gotten to a point where I thought, is it too late to do the things that I want to do? And I think too often we can kind of get lost in that noise and just think, well, it's too late, I'm too old, how am I going to start all over? How am I going to resume? If I took so much time off of the podcast or another endeavor, how am I going to just up and start again? And in thinking of it, I just really had to bring myself back down and just have a little heart to heart and remind myself you can do whatever you want to do. And I just wanted to remind you as well, because I think especially as we get older, we lose a little bit of that childlike faith, that creativity, is smothered by a lot of things that we have to do as adults and focus on. And so it can be hard to continue to cultivate that side of ourselves. But for me in 2023, that is something that I decided that I will be taking with me. I already have creative endeavors in the works, and I started this YouTube channel towards the end of 2022. And like I've mentioned, I don't know where this is gonna go. All 11 of you might stay or go, and all of you I really appreciate. But you guys might leave, or some new people might come. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but this is an outlet for me, and it's a really, really great way for me to continue being creative and to explore different ideas and experiences. And I'm very, very excited. So I just know that I wanted to sprinkle this one in because it is so important to remember to continue to nurture ourselves, whether that be learning new skills, going back to school, trying out new hobbies, or going back to hobbies that you used to love and that you lost along the way. So I definitely think there is a ton of room for that in our lives. We just have to be intentional and try our very hardest to make the space in our lives for the things that make us very happy, fulfilled, and they don't have to have a purpose. They don't have to make you money. It doesn't have to serve any other purpose other than bringing you fulfillment and peace and happiness. So just remember that next time you think, is it too late? Is this even worth it? Am I wasting my time? Just remember that as long as you're doing it for you, that is all that matters. Number 6 is a toughie, but it is a real one. So not everyone is in your corner. Find your people. That one is a very tough one to not only say, but also just talk about, because it is so true. Too oftentimes with social media and so many people having so much access to our lives, we can often forget that not everyone deserves to have access to our lives. And what I mean by that is recognizing that there are certain people in your life that are there for the long haul. Those are your ride or die. Those are your checking up on you. They know you, they're your friends. They've been there through thick and thin for you, and they'll continue to be there no matter what. Those are your people. Find your people and love the heck out of them. Appreciate them, be there for them. Recognizing that just because people are family, or just because people have been in your life to some capacity for an extended amount of time, that doesn't make them your person. That does not automatically mean that they are in your corner. So you really have to pay attention to what people do versus what people say. You really have to take a look and see how people show up for you. Do they call? Do they text? Do they reach out? Do they check on you? When you are in those deep, dark moments, how do they respond? How do they show up for you? When you are at the top of the mountain, how do they also respond? How do they support you? Do you have a business? Do you have something that you work hard for? What do they do to support you? Not necessarily monetarily, it can be in any capacity, whether it's sharing your posts, whether it's sharing your product, whether it's just by word of mouth, being able to refer you to other people. Those are your people who want to see you succeed. And even if they're not comfortable, not everyone is comfortable with being so full on, but you know the people that support you to your face and that speak life over you and speak life to you, that compliment you, and most importantly, that talk highly of you behind your back. So definitely keep in mind, not everyone is your person. When people come and go, you let them go, you let them do their thing. You don't beg people to stay and plead for them to support you. You just take things for what they are and just recognize that some people are here for a season, and that is totally fine. Just like you are not for everyone, everyone is not for you. So I think we just all need that little reminder, because I know even just from personal experience, it can very, very, very much hurt and sting and affect us when the people that we think should be supporting us are not supporting us. They're not there, nowhere to be found. But I just wanted to bring this up because this is a real one. This is a real thing that a lot of people struggle with. And it's just a situation where you really have to forgive them. Just focus on the ones that you do have, the people that do show up for you in the ways that you would like for them to. And another thing that I learned in counseling is that your standards are your standards. You are the one who chooses the standards that you allow in your life, the ways in which you accept love. It is not up to anyone else to tell you that your standards are too high or that you expect too much from others. They are your standards. If your standards are high, keep them high. It will not be a problem for the people that want to meet those standards or that are able to meet those standards. And so that is just a great way to keep your filter on for the people who you allow to have access to you. And I think it's something that going into 2023, I am just going to keep at the forefront of my mind and of my relationships. Life is just very fluid, especially when it comes to relationships. So know that these things can change really at any time. You can always add or take away and adjust the expectations as necessary. Pausing for coffee. I think we're on number 7. I don't know. I obviously cannot keep up with this. I think I went out of order on my list, so I don't know what number we're on. Maybe we're on number 7. I don't really know. Doesn't really matter. This one is so critical to me. Spend time making memories. So important to me. And I really think that I have been very guilty of really just making my life all of one thing. That is a great thing, a necessary thing, something that is admirable to be so focused. This one's just really important to me because I am 30 years old. I don't know, people my age tell me right before you turn 30 or right when you turned 30, how did you feel about your life? Because for me, it's not that I felt like I was running out of time, because I know that there's so much more life to live, but I definitely felt like, okay, what are all the things that I want to do? What have I not done? Why am I not doing them? And I think that when you're younger, you think you have so much time, and I guess because you kind of usually do have more time and just not as many responsibilities. But for me, I was very carefree in my early 20s, and I just did anything and everything, and I was just constantly making memories, constantly doing other things. And as I got older, as we do, we get more focused and we lose a little bit of our spontaneity. And in 2022, I am leaving behind being boring, and in 2023, I am taking with me spontaneity, adventure, fun, and experiences. I am making more memories because we never know how much time we have left, you guys. And that's definitely something, especially coming out of the years that I've had with my health struggles. You don't know. You just don't know what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, if it's gonna happen. And for me, I just really had to assess my life, and I sat down with my husband and told him, I want to make more memories. I want to do more things. And it doesn't have to be this like big, extravagant, expensive thing. It can be literally anything. Walks in parks that I've never walked in, coffee shops that I've never gone to, grocery shopping at a different Trader Joe's, concerts, weekend experiences, day trips, trying new foods, trying new restaurants, trying new recipes at home, just different experiences and just making memories with the people that I love. That is really what I've been missing these past few years. And rightfully so. I was really focused on other things, like just getting healthy. But definitely going into 2023, like I said, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling more and more like myself. And I really just want to make memories with the people closest to me. And so anyway, I just really want to make more memories, and it's as simple as that. I just want to have fun. I want to adventure more. I am not old. We are not old, guys. We are 30 years old. And we have a lot of life. We have a lot of adventure, and we're going to make it happen. We're going to make memories, and we're going to document it here and have fun while doing it. The sun is going down, so I'm running out of light and running out of time, but this last one is super meaningful to me. This one is about our happiness. This is just a great reminder for myself that happiness comes from within. Too often it can be super easy to look for happiness, look for validation elsewhere, anywhere, our spouses, our friends, our social media accounts, and it is so difficult to live that way and to keep up and that constant chase of external validation. And it's one of those things where you have to constantly remind yourself that it is not other things that truly make you confident and make you happy and that can bring you peace and zest for life. All of that has to come from within, and it's only something that's going to come when you're intentionally trying to cultivate that happiness. And so for me, that looks like doing the things that I know bring me happiness, that bring me true overwhelming joy, and that's being creative, and that's learning new things, and that's pursuing new passions. I will never be a person who does one thing or even probably has one job for the rest of their life. I just cannot do it. I can't do it. I am like squirrel. I can't do it. So I resonate with the whole boredom and looking to what are they doing? I get it, and it can be so hard to just focus. But for 2023, if there's anything that I'm leaving behind, it's looking to other people. I'm not looking at her or at her or at her. I don't care what she's doing. I don't care what you're doing in the nicest way. I am simply focused on myself, on being the best version that I know that I can be in the ways that I want to be. For me, like I said, that looks like being more creative and learning and filling my cup, because it's so hard to pour from an empty cup. And so I will end with that one. There's definitely so much more I want to say on all of these topics, but this video is probably way too long, but you definitely got to know me. So I am super happy that we sat down for this chatty video, and I cannot wait to do more chatty videos. I will be doing a whole video that's an actual get to know me, and I will be doing a video on my diagnosis and diving into all of that for anyone who is going through a similar journey. And I will be sharing more about my creative endeavors along the way. Thank you so much for being here. First and foremost, I am so happy to be going on this little YouTube journey with you. I would love to get to know you guys as more of you guys trickle in. Definitely feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what type of videos you might like to see, and just a little bit of information about yourself. I would really love to get to know the people that are supporting me. So again, thank you so much for being here. I wish you guys a beautifully blessed 2023. I know life is hard, you guys. It's ever changing. There's always something. There's always another challenge. I feel like there's always something that you feel like, what now? I get it. Life is just hard, and it really is up to us to cultivate a more positive mindset and to, like I said, just be more intentional this year and give ourselves more than what we've been giving ourselves, at least speaking for me. And so that's what 2023 is about. It's just about making memories. It's about being intentional. It's about having boundaries. It's about being creative and finding more of myself and just being happy in the process. I think everything flows from that. So anyway, not to get on another tangent, but thank you again for being here, and I'll see you soon.